Welcome to Course 2, Lesson 16. This lesson deals with units of measure in the United States and what we use compared to the rest of the world, which is metric, and then function tables. We're going to convert and estimate units of weight, length, and liquid using measures of the U.S. customary system. And we're going to study pairs of numbers to determine the rule for a function and use the rule to find an unknown number and use function tables to solve problems. There are no particular vocabulary words that you need to learn from this lesson that you shouldn't already know. In this lesson, we'll consider units of measure in the United States. We can measure an object by its dimension, its weight, or its volume, or we can measure by temperature. Each type of measurement has a set of units. We should remember that common equivalent measures and have a feel for the units so that we can estimate measurements reasonably. The following table shows the common weight equivalents for weight in the United States. 16 ounces equals 1 pound and 2,000 pounds equals a ton. I have included in your section a download for all the weights, well, not all of them, but for the majority of the weights in the United States. If you want to download that document and put it in your binder, it'll help you a lot. Suppose a pickup truck can carry a load of 1/2 of a ton. How many tons or how many pounds can the pickup truck carry? Well, if we remember the prior screen of 2,000 pounds equals 1 ton, this problem should be pretty easy to solve. Go ahead and solve that and then start the video. 1 ton is 2,000 pounds, so 1/2 of a ton is equivalent to 1,000 pounds, which is our answer. The following table shows the common length equivalents in the United States. 12 inches we know equals a foot, 3 foot equals 3 feet equals a yard. 1,760 yards equals a mile. That one's a little harder to remember. And 5,280 feet equals 1 mile. Both of those are hard to remember, but you should know both of those, particularly that 5,280 feet equals a mile. So if 1 yard is, how many inches is 1 yard equals to? Well, here's our yard. Here's our feet. Then you just got to convert feet to inches. Let's go ahead and do that. So 1 yard equals 3 times 12 inches. Because 12 inches equals a foot, you've got 3 feet in a yard, so our answer is 36 inches. A mountain bike is about how many feet long? Think about a mountain bike, or any bike for that matter that you've ridden on, and estimate how long you think it might be. Think about how tall you are, and if you were to lay down, would the bike be longer than you or shorter than you? Would it be about the same? This is a question that has to do with estimating. See if you can estimate how long a mountain bike is, how many feet long a mountain bike is. Well, a mountain bike is about 5.5 feet long. So if you estimate between 5 or 6 feet, you did a great job. Without measuring a mountain bike, how could we determine that this estimate was reasonable? Well, we did that by comparing it to an object. In this case, I said to compare it to you and your height to see how you thought it might be. Hopefully that was a fairly good exercise and not too difficult. Just as with a ruler is divided it successfully into halves, we also take units of liquid measure and divide them successfully in halves. A half gallon is called a half a gallon. Half of a half gallon is called a quart. Half of a quart is called a pint. And half of a pint is a cup. The capacity of each container above here is half the capacity of the next one above. The following chart shows some equivalent measures in the U.S. again. So if you go back up here top, this cup is 1/2 of this. This is 1/2 of a quart. 1 quart is half of a half a gallon, and half a gallon is half of a gallon. So 8 ounces is equal to a cup. 2 cups make up a pint. 2 pints make up a quart, and 4 quarts equals 1 gallon. Steve drinks at least 8 cups of water every day. How many quarts of water does he drink a day? Let's take a quick look back here. Look at our units of measure. 2 cups equals a pint. 2 pints equals a quart. So if he drinks 8 cups of water every day, how many quarts of water does he drink a day? Two cups equals a pint, so 8 cups is 4 pints. There's 2 pints in a quart, so 4 pints is 2 quarts. Steve drinks at least 2 quarts of water every day. This is the Fahrenheit temperature scale. Using this, how many Fahrenheit degrees are between freezing and boiling temperatures? So how many degrees is it between these two right here? That's a simple subtraction problem. You're going to take the 212, you're going to subtract the 32, and you're going to know that from here to here, this is 180 degrees. A function is a mathematical rule that identifies the relationship between two sets of numbers. A lot of times we'll use a function to describe in words and equations. They'll do like we did the 3n plus 1 equals x. Right, and then we remember how we had function tables. And we put x up here, and we put 3n plus 1 over here, and then we start to fill these in. And if we put a 1 here, that means 3 times 1 is 3 plus 1 is 4, so x would be 4. If n is 2, 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. If n is 3, 3 times 3 is 9, plus 1 is 10. This is what we're talking about here with our functions and our rules of functions. So this table shows the weight in ounces for a given weight in pounds. So 1 pound equals 16 ounces. 2 pounds equals 32 ounces. This is an input-output table. So describe the rule in this function. And in B, if Maddie weighed 7 pounds when she was born, use this function rule to find out how many ounces Maddie weighed when she was born. For B, you know you're going to have to continue this down, right? And just take this to 6 pounds and 7 pounds. So in A, to find the number of ounces, we've multiplied the number of pounds, the input, by 16. That's our rule. And then for B, to find Maddie's birth weight in ounces, we multiply 7 times that 16 to get that she weighed 112 pounds. Hannah bought 4 yards of fabric to make a costume for a school play. Let's underline what we know is important, 4 yards of fabric. Make a function table that shows the number of feet for a given number of yards. Use the function table to find the number of feet for Hannah's the amount of fabric that Hannah bought. So if we have our input and our output, so our output's going to be in feet. So 1 yard equals 3 feet. 2 yards equals 6 feet. And that's your table. And this, of course, would be feet, and this would be yards. So if Hannah bought 4 yards, how many feet did she have? She had 12. 4 yards times 3 feet equals 12. That would be something you could probably do in your head. But usually if it asks you to do it with a function table, you're going to need to draw that table. The rule is that to find the number of feet, you multiply the number of yards by 3. And that's what we did. This is your written practice, your tickets in the door, problems 3, 7, A, B, and C, and 24. If you have any questions, write them down so you don't forget them. Come to class tomorrow ready to work on this assignment.